Punchboard Media,
where we all
bring something
to the table.
Pull up a chair
at punchboardmedia.com.
Party Gamecast, we'll show you what to play, giving you ideas when you don't know what to do or say. Party Gamecast, it's all fun and games, we'll show you new ideas to play. Party Gamecast, having fun is easy when you know what games to play. Party Gamecast, we'll show you what to play, giving you ideas so you can party away.
Hey everybody, quick note before we get into the show, which we will in just a moment. As this is coming out, tomorrow is Extra Life Game Day. Extra Life is the charity event that we do every single year, 24-hour game-a-thon for the Children's Miracle Network. For most of our team, more specifically the Johns Hopkins Children's Hospital, but all of the money everywhere goes to the Children's Miracle Network. If you're listening to this, if you got this quickly and early, we might even be doing it right now. Saturday the 7th, from 10 a.m. East to Sunday the 8th, 10 a.m. East. We will be doing, in all good theory, a 24-hour stream in and about. We might take, food breaks. That sounds like a thing we'd do. But we might even just take those and eat food on camera and talk to people. But if you go to twitch.tv/thepartygamecast, we should be doing nearly 24 hours of content. That's going to include trivia games that you can play in. That's going to include music video bingo. If you want to play music video bingo with us, we're going to be doing Jackbox. At some point, we're going to play a game of Among Us. And the whole time, if there's something you want to play, let us know. We want to be as interactive as we possibly can during the entire shindig. So just show up at twitch.tv/thepartygamecast. Either me or Rocki will be there. At some points, I think I'm going to do some video game stuff. At other points, I think she's going to play Animal Crossing. We don't know what we're going to do for 24 hours. But we are going to have cameras in a bunch of places. We're going to play some board games. I'm going to try and make Rocki play Crokinole on camera. And anything that you all want to play, if there's a way we can adapt it to make it a game that we can all play together, we will bring you on the stream with us if you have a camera, and we will play together, because that's what it's all about. It's all about playing games, having fun, and doing everything #for the kids. So once again, we'll be doing Extra Life as this comes out, in, I don't know, maybe 12 hours. So if you're interested, by all means, please stop by anytime during that 24-hour period from 10 a.m. to 10 a.m. Saturday the 7th to Sunday the 8th. We would love to see you. Now I'm going to turn this over to the actual show. Talk to you later. Welcome to the Party Gamecast, featuring the Party Gamecast, a podcast about party games and games you take to parties. I'm your moderator, Bruce. Joining me on the show is Rocki.
Hello.
Hey.
Hey.
Bryan.
What's up?
Nothing much, Bryan. What's up with you?
Not really a whole lot. I don't know. Playing some games. About it.
Thank you for that yes and, Bryan. I really appreciate
I really
that.
try to lean right into it. You're welcome.
I thank you. We also have Mike.
Hi.
Hey, Mike. How in the world are you?
I'm also doing what Bryan is doing. I am playing some games, and I am recording an episode of our wonderful, wonderful show.
Very good. We have one more person in the show that I know is not going to let me down. Hey, Marty.
Hey, Bruce.
How are you, Marty?
I'm doing all right.
Huh. This is not nearly as awkward as I would expect from you. Did you feel like Bryan and Mike had from you?
No, just radio silence. That's fine.
I got your awkward right here.
That's how you do awkward right there.
Nice
just make everyone. Is his mic still on?
Yeah, I think his mic is still on, and Mike is still on, so it means we are still together as a podcast. Thank you so much for listening. We are doing this over Zoom. I say that to you for multiple reasons. One, it's going to affect the games that we're playing. Two, it's going to affect the quality of the show. Three, it's going to affect the quality of our interactions with one another, because everything's not exactly in real time and we're not sitting around a table together. So, yeah, that's a thing. But the show is still sponsored by patrons like you at patreon.com/partygamecast. And more specifically, by Power to the Meeple at powertothemeeple.com. You can find them there. Great prices, great service. They help a ton of podcasts. They help the Spiel Foundation. They're just good folks. And if you're looking for games at fantastic prices online, go to powertothemeeple.com. Also, if Grillo's Pickles was a sponsor, I'd talk about them here, but they're not.
Oh man,
We need to get that pickle money.
We need to get that sweet pickle money.
the sweet
What do you
sweet
mean
pickles.
we?
No, not the sweet pickles. We want the dill pickles.
I want a spicy pickle money.
That is true.
Mm,
Or
I
the
don't
half
actually
sour
want
pickle
the,
money.
I want the money, not the sweet
I
pickles.
see what you did. there.
I do want the dill pickles though.
First, you
They
get the
could be
money,
bought in spicy.
Then you
or
get the
dill
pickles.
Yeah,
and that's how that goes.
yeah. We could make that happen. I really just wanted to get out with like one pair of shoes because for a while they did a pair of shoes, and I was like, I can't believe a pickle company's doing a pair of shoes.
Were they made out of pickles? Like just
Unfortunately,
giant
Mike,
pickles?
They were not.
Were they green?
They were white with green accents.
Like
And they had
pickles.
the Grillo Pickles guy on the back of the heel, and they had green laces and green rubber. They were a pair of Ewings. Formerly, one Mr. Patrick Ewing, someone a lot of people have forgotten about if you only started watching basketball in the 2000s. But if you look back at your old dream teams, you'll remember none other than the greatest player, not the greatest player in New York Knicks history, but certainly a good player in New York Knicks history. Patrick Ewing, who had a perfectly reasonable shoe that wasn't the best shoe. It wasn't the Air Jordan. You've heard of Air Jordan. You haven't heard of the Ewings. They brought him back, though, and at some point, they made one about pickles. There's my story time.
All right.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
It's been educational.
Pickles.
So speaking of things that are educational, it's about time for us to jump into the thing we start a lot of these episodes with. I think it might be time for
Education?
The show?
yeah, but maybe in the form of what the food?
What the
What the
food?
The
No.
food.
What is food?
Maybe don't
Baby,
eat
don't
me.
hurt me.
Bow,
Munch,
bow,
munch.
bow, 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 bow,
Munch,
bow,
munch,
bow,
munch,
bow,
munch,
bow,
munch,
bow, bow, bow.
Today's What the Food is sponsored by the San Francisco Otter Choir.
Ooh.
Free concerts every Wednesday except during mating season. The San Francisco Otter Choir.
Then you have to pay.
I think then you can pay. It's probably on camera somewhere. Check out YouTube.
But you're probably not going to see me singing.
You're probably not going to see any singing, though. So I would
Yeah.
think about, before you just sit your kids
Yeah,
down and put
you
the
know.
San Francisco Otter Choir on, think about, is it live? Is it a greatest hits? You probably want a greatest hits. Yeah.
Yeah.
We thank all of the otters in the choir for their sponsorship. We thank all of you that sponsor us at patreon.com. So, in our new format, we're doing mini snack brackets. That's
For mini snacks.
Yeah.
They are
Like
mini
tiny
snacks.
snacks?
They're both mini
White.
in size, and the bracket is only 4 teams. So who wants to talk to us about what we're doing today with that? I'm going to put it on you, Rock, because there's
Yes.
no flavor text. So this is your
You're right.
discussion.
There is no flavor
There's
text.
No flavor text that
Well,
we can read.
Actually, yeah, on the contrary, there's a ton of flavor text. It's just in Japanese. And I cannot read any of it. And I feel like Google Translate would fail us immensely.
Yeah.
So we are having 4 different Japanese Kit Kats today.
Meh, 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 meh.
Ooh.
Ooh.
They are all special seasonal ones, I believe. So 2 of them are salt and a fruit. One of them is just a fruit, and one of them is just a salt.
Mine's a salt and a starfish.
Yeah.
Oh my!
I would argue
Mine's
2
a-
of them are concepts more than they are fruits.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe.
Salty like
Would you
a
like to know
dolphin.
what we have today?
Please, Rocky, I want to know, what are we doing for the brackets today?
All right. So the first bracket is salt lemon. You know, they grow on trees. Those salt lemons.
The famous salt lemon.
Yes, and then
Mhm.
salt.
Just add
lychee.
vodka.
Mm,
Lemon drop.
those are pretty great.
Yeah.
That's supposed to be sugar, Marty.
Yes. Yeah. So, are we just opening up the salt lemon?
I was opening up the salt
Okay.
lemon while you told people that salt
Okay.
lychee.
Yeah, salt lychee is its competitor in this first bracket. Salty fruit,
Salty
know,
fruit.
normal things.
Our
Salty
opening
fruit.
fighters.
So
Which
we're
one
going,
are we starting with, y'all?
I thought salty
The left
lemon
one.
was said it first.
I thought you said lemon.
Okay, we're
Yeah.
starting with lemon.
I'm gonna sniff it.
Ooh,
That's very lemony
that's
smelling.
very lemony.
Mine definitely got a little bit of
Yeah.
time in the sun during the delivery.
That may be true.
It's
It
very,
might be a little melty.
very melty.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Oh.
mine does not look like that.
Smells good.
That is
Yeah.
That is very tart.
that's
Oh, wow.
very lemon. but it's
cool.
sweet and creamy at the same time. But it's
Yeah.
I like that.
That is really weird.
yeah.
That is
It's
surprisingly
like
good
a-
tart.
Like a lemon bar almost. It's like
Yeah.
tart
Mhm.
but creamy and sweet. I like that. That's good.
Yeah, that is tasty.
That is fun. That's bracing. Like,
Mhm.
I always feel like the best of the key lime pies are supposed to
Mhm.
kind of kick in the teeth just a little bit. Not so much that you're angry about it, but it shouldn't just be entirely sweet. It should be like this, where there's like a certain amount of.
All right, so we're just eating one bar. That way we can save it for the face-off.
Yeah, we are saving the second bar for the possible second matchup.
Should probably say that before someone just enjoys it a lot.
Oh, I
nom,
just took a
nom.
bite out of both, but it wasn't the whole thing
Okay.
because I don't break them off usually.
Yeah, I would say save
rebel.
some for the second match for
Oh, yeah.
whichever one should happen to make it there. So I'm gonna go around. We'll just get a couple of quick opinions on this, and we'll get into lychee. I personally just thought this was wonderful, Rocki.
I also thought it was wonderful. I don't generally like sour, but it was sweet and a little tart at the same time, and it was fun.
Nice, Brian.
Yeah, it was delightful. I like it's light, it's sweet. Because a lot of times I don't like white chocolate because it's just sweet with no flavor.
Yeah.
But this is like I said, it's kind of like a lemon cookie or a lemon tart where it's creamy, it's sweet, it's got a little tartness. It's it's excellent.
How about you, Mike?
Yeah, I really like it. Although my only kind of beef with this is
Okay.
that it says lemon salt, and I didn't taste any salt. Did anyone else taste any salt?
Not really.
Not
A
really.
hint of it, but I think it's cutting off the sour so you don't taste the salt.
Yeah.
So
Could
it's not
be.
like they counter each other. It's kind of like salt caramel. Sometimes you don't taste the salt.
Yeah, I would say I did not notice it was not salt forward in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair.
How about you,
But
Marty?
it's very tasty.
Yeah, I agree with everyone, what everyone has said. It's just like nice, surprising tartness to it. That was really enjoyable.
Uh-oh. So now we're headed into the next one. Rocki, give us as much introduction as can be given.
This is another salt fruit. It is salt lychee.
I don't
Done.
know that I've eaten enough lychee in my day to really have an opinion about it.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
I'm
like
not sure I've
lychee.
ever had lychee before,
I-
so this will be a thing.
They
Kinda
used
like
to sell
pear.
gummies at the H Mart near us.
Yeah, it's really
So I
good.
used to get the gummies,
Mhm. It was
but I
real
couldn't
popular.
tell you what lychee tasted like.
It's real popular in like the early 2000s. A whole bunch of those, like when they came out with weird flavored like sorbets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
all
It
those-
also makes a really good tea.
Now that I
Yes.
smell it, I'm like, that is what lychee is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a
Oh boy,
Basically.
that is very flowery.
Yeah, it's very
It's more
Yeah.
flowery than I'm used to. Yeah.
Mhm.
That is like eating grandma's soap.
Yeah, it definitely has just a and not grandma's regular soap. Grandma's soap for the guests.
Yeah,
The soap
guest
you're not
soap.
allowed to use unless you're not allowed to use.
The
Yeah,
one that
yeah,
looks like a
absolutely not.
seashell.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
one lump because it's been there untouched for so long.
It's
Uh-huh,
covered in
and it-
dust.
It's
Ugh.
bright pink, and it used to be transparent or translucent, but now
Yep.
it's just dull.
Yep.
You know, this is flour. I wouldn't. It's not bad, but I don't remember the fruit itself being this flowery.
No,
Like I said, I remember the fruit being more kind of like a tart pear
Yeah.
kind of. But
this is
it's
very
been years.
floral.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
I'll go around. I'll leave myself out. I'll go last this time. I will start with Rocki just so I can keep in order because we're doing this as a Zoom call. So, Rock,
Yes.
how do you feel about this one?
I enjoyed it. It's not what I was expecting exactly because it definitely it's kind of like eating a flower, but also a fruit. I don't know, but it's fun.
It's not bad at
Yeah.
all. Brian, how about you?
I'm kind of the same. I liked it. It was way more floral than I expected, just like Rocki said. But it wasn't unpleasantly so. Because usually I kind of hate they tend to trigger allergies, like floral
Okay.
things with me.
Ugh.
Like rose water. Roses make me sneeze, and anything with rose water I hate.
Okay.
You know, so when I first smelled it, I'm like, this isn't good. This might not be good. But it's pretty, like, it's got a nice, like, mild, creamy, sweet flavor. It's just, there's a very strong floral thing going on too. So
Agreed.
it's kind of love it and hate a little bit of it.
Mike, how about you?
You know what this reminds me of? Remember when we did the Turkish candies?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it also kind of tasted like eating grandma's soap because
Yep.
of all the rose water.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. And I was not a big fan of those, and I'm not a big fan of this. I do not have a palate for soap. I don't want to eat soap.
Oh, okay.
And this did not really fill a niche in my life that was begging to be filled.
What you weren't missing was creamy soap wafer.
No, I was
Mhm.
not. Now, crunchy soap wafer was a little interesting,
Yeah.
but no. Still
I
no.
fear what we may be seeing is the finals here. That makes me very nervous that may be a situation that we're seeing, but we'll find out. Marty, how do you feel about it?
Same as everyone else. So it's like kind of a little more floral than I expected, but still very tasty, and I still enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm going to say the same thing. I liked it. I thought it was actually kind of enjoyable. I will enjoy eating the other part of this. I have a strange feeling that will not be anytime very soon. But let's put our votes in. I'm going to go opposite direction. Marty, how are you voting? Which one's moving on?
The lemon, but barely. I think the lemon is more as advertised, so I think that is there. But I mean, the lychee was definitely enjoyable, and I'll definitely be finishing it.
Very good. Mike, how about you?
Mine is very clearly for the lemon. Yeah.
Okay.
So Bruce is on Zoom and his video is on. You could see him hold up another finger for my vote on the same hand before I actually said it. He knew what was happening.
Yep.
I knew. I'm no fool. I listened to your review. Bryan, how about you?
You can put that third finger up. Go ahead.
There we go.
Yeah, the lemon was the lemon was as advertised and surprising. Like it was surprisingly better than I expected it. The lychee was different, but not in a better. Like it wasn't bad. It just wasn't like I could do without the floral. So it doesn't go. It doesn't
Fair.
make.
Rock, your opinion does not matter to the scores, but I'm still going to ask because you're a person. Hey, Rock, what's your vote here?
I'm voting for the salt lemon because I don't usually like tart stuff, but it was complex enough that it made me want to keep trying it because it was interesting. I don't hate the lychee; it's just different.
And I feel the same way all of you did. I actually really like a good slice of key lime pie for just that reason. I like that kind of bracing tartness with the creamy sweetness. So yeah, I am also going to move lemon into the finals. So that is a 5-0 sweep. So it is now time to move into the second half of the bracket, which contains mostly concepts.
Oh boy.
Rocky, let us know what those concepts are.
All right. Well, the first one I'm going to hold up completely different, I think. I'm going Easter egg paint Kit Kats. What does that mean, you ask?
You're not supposed to eat that.
Rocky, what is
No,
that
you're
mean?
not.
I don't know. It has a picture of bananas on it. So I'm guessing that means bananas.
I've never dyed an egg with bananas. I know you can dye them with plants,
Yeah.
not bananas.
I don't know. I don't know what Easter's like in Japan.
It definitely smells like a candy banana.
It does smell like banana
Yeah, it
Laffy
does.
Taffy.
Yeah, it smells
like
like banana
runts.
cream.
The only thing I can tell you is that the box or the bag to the Easter egg paint is a bag you can color.
Yeah, they switched to paper packaging, so you
Yeah.
can do origami with it also.
Yeah, and that one has no,
Yeah.
it is all matte and it is matte with no color. So you literally could take like crayons and color in that bag if you wanted to.
Oh, like these little mini ones came in a big bag just of the Easter.
Yes, each of
Okay.
these that we are eating came in a larger bag that had, I think, 10 servings in it. So if you're paying attention at home, you'll realize that we are only using 4, maybe I think 5, and then 1 or 2 might be somewhere else. But we might start putting together packages and sending them out randomly to folks that are on our sponsorship list. If you like Kit Kats, let us know. Talk to us on any of our social medias and say, hey, I like Kit Kats.
Don't send them the melted ones.
No.
So they might be melted. Brian has shown us. We have some melty ones.
Yeah, mine is all the sauce, all the chocolate is on one side of my Kit Kat.
Oh,
One is chocolatey, the other is not.
oh.
Well, I guess as a bonus, at least temperatures are getting a little cooler, so that's less likely to happen
Yes.
That's true.
There you go.
Hey, can we eat it?
So also let everybody know what the second one in the bracket is.
Oh, I'm
Rocky.
going to eat it. The second one, I put this one second so we would have a break. This one is ocean salt. And each one has a different picture of a sea creature on it. So I have concerns.
I'm
I would
eating
like
a
it noted.
dolphin.
It's like when you get the seafood platter. You know, it's whatever
Yeah.
fish, aquatic
Whatever
life
came
was-
up in the net.
Yeah, whatever aquatic life was on. set.
Enjoy this boot.
Also, at least the one that's the concept of Easter has a banana on it. The one that's the concept of the ocean has nothing else to indicate anything other than ocean.
I mean, my assumption.
It just smells like sugar.
It's dolphin.
Oh, I haven't opened that one yet. I just opened the
You
banana.
know, I was waiting.
Are we going to start with the banana?
Yes.
That's the one I opened. I hope
Okay.
so.
Dude,
I am a banana.
Figured we'd put a break between salted
Here you go,
things.
Brian.
So that smells more of banana than it tastes.
Which is good.
Mhm. I think that's the right amount of banana because it just kind of tastes vaguely sweet.
Yeah.
Not quite in a white chocolate way, but
Yeah.
creamy.
No, I'm getting like a banana flavor, but it's less candy banana and actual like banana, which is unusual.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta say, for the Japanese Kit Kats that we've had today and in other times, they don't do the like cheap candy flavors that we're used to in like like Runts or whatever that kind of taste
Yeah.
like something that we're supposed to think is what an orange tastes like, but it isn't.
I don't know. It's pretty like fake banana for me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I got. It's pretty good. It's not like a Runts banana, but it's not quite a real banana. It's candy.
Yeah.
I like it.
So, Rock, how do you feel about this one?
I enjoy it, even though I enjoy real banana and fake banana. So I don't mind whichever one you may think it tastes like.
Which I believe fake banana tastes so fake to us because it's an old type of banana.
Yes, I do believe that's a thing.
Yeah.
Google
But
that.
we only have one kind of banana now.
Yeah, I
Yes.
think the Cavendish banana might be the one that.
That's
Is
the one that
we
we
have
have.
now, or is that the one that went out of?
Yeah, that's the one that's in every grocery store, is the Cavendish.
Okay, then whatever the one before the Cavendish was that went extinct is the one that flavoring is based on.
Yeah, because apparently the Cavendish is the least flavorful of the bananas. It's just
Yeah.
the one that was resistant to whatever that weird plague was that killed all the bananas.
And it also doesn't ripen as fast, so you can
Yeah.
send it, transport it easier.
Yeah, and it will ripen off the tree. But it's
Today
also
on
food-like.
banana history.
Well,
Yeah,
welcome to Banana History.
and they're all the same plant, technically.
Yeah.
Yes.
As we take a look at the heavy book of Banana History.
Welcome to Botany Party Gamecast.
Yeah, it's what you come here for, is the hard-hitting banana knowledge.
Yeah.
Brian, so how'd you feel about this one?
I liked it. Like you said, it smelled more banana than it tasted, and I think it was a nice balance. Because if it tasted as banana as it smelled, it would have been overwhelming. But it was kind of like a creamy. It was like a banana cream pie, sort of, where
Yeah,
most of the banana comes from the smell, not from the creamy pie part.
yeah.
That's kind of all these so far. They've tasted like it was like a lemon cream pie and a banana cream pie, and I guess what a lychee cream pie might taste like if I'd ever eaten one.
Fair.
I've not. But
Only one way to find out, Brian.
Yeah, but no, I liked it. This was pleasant.
Nice. How about you, Mike?
I disliked it less than I was expecting to. I'm not a big fan of banana candies ever.
Okay.
Like I hate that fake banana flavor
Yeah.
with a passion. And this wasn't. I still didn't really like it that much. I wouldn't run out and buy it. But
So you wouldn't take this to a party?
no, I would not take this to a party.
Okay.
Oh, are we doing that?
Well, no. I figured we would do it once we get to the winner. And we
Fair.
talk about all the things, but I figured we could cover this easily with Mike right now.
Yeah, but no. I mean, it wasn't as bad as it could have been.
Okay. Ringing endorsement. Marty, how about you?
I'm the same boat as Mike, where it's like I didn't hate it as much as I thought I was going to, because I just don't like the banana candies either. So it wasn't as bad as I thought, but it's not great.
So you're telling me the boat that you're on with Mike is not the banana,
The banana boat. Yeah, no.
Oh,
I saw Bruce winding up like
there's a.
he was up on the mound with a huge wind up
Oh, yeah.
and the pitch.
I just had to high five myself. So let's see how this one goes. I'm gonna start with Rocki.
Yes.
Which one? Oh no, I'm sorry. We still have
didn't-
another one to do.
Yeah, I'm very confused
which
right
of
now.
the-
We didn't
which of the
actually
one
eat the ocean salt
that
yet.
We
we
have
tasted?
another candy I didn't want to have to do.
Oh,
So let's
Okay,
set this
so-
one off.
This one's white chocolate. I was not expecting that.
I was like, did I miss something?
Thought it
all
was
right.
Didn't
Let's
do a
let's
second
open
candy.
this thing
Regular
up. This
chocolate.
dolphin flavored Kit Kat.
All I smell is
never-
sweet.
Yeah,
It doesn't smell like.
Yeah, no,
dolphin.
I just smell white chocolate.
it's very white.
Yeah, mine doesn't appear to be dolphiny.
All right, let's see if it tastes like dolphin.
That is what a salt Kit Kat tastes like.
Nope, do not like. Well, nope, still don't like.
That is salt and white chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I don't really.
that's
taste-
pretty much it.
It doesn't even taste like white chocolate. It just tastes like sweet.
It tastes like
Creamy.
sweet salt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
That
getting
is
the
it.
salt.
With that hint of vanilla taste to it. Yes. White
Yeah.
chocolate with
Yeah, it's like the,
Oh.
the filling in a in one of those wafers.
Yeah, a little bit like that. Or if you're in one of the really like shishi shops and you buy like vanilla salt, you're like, oh no, my cupcake needs vanilla salt because that's what the Betty Crocker mix is missing. Is me putting a sprinkle of $17 a bottle vanilla salt on it.
Because it's not like you could make vanilla salt at home. You need to buy that.
Of course, you're paying for the idea, Brian.
Speaking of
So-
ideas,
I can buy a vanilla bean and I have some salt in a jar.
Shh, quiet you.
it's not right. It's not the right kind of salt.
Are there multiple kinds of salt?
oh
yeah.
yeah,
Oh, there's a lot of.
we're
kinds
talking
of
about
salt.
those shishi shops. You need to get
Yeah.
that Himalayan
Yeah, right.
Himalayan stuff.
It's
Yeah.
either it's salt or not salt.
If it doesn't come from a volcanic rock from the other side of the world, from wherever you are. Because I would guess if you're in Fiji or whatever, they're probably bringing you salt from Detroit or something.
I feel
Genuine-
bad for Fijians.
Exotic
Genuine
Michigander
Detroit salt.
salt.
So, Rocki, how'd you feel about this one?
I think that's road salt.
I mean, I want to like it more because my brain's like, well, there's salted chocolate and there's salted caramel, and that's a thing, and people really like that. But I'm really not digging this. I'm just
Fair
not,
enough.
because there's no other flavor besides sweet for the salt to work with.
It is just sweet and salty.
Uh,
How about you, Brian?
I like it. It's not super salty. It's kind of salty. It seems like this is the base that the other three built upon. So having it last kind of feels a little lackluster, I guess. I don't know. But it's pretty good. And it's not, I think it's just a Japanese thing. It's not sweet in the way that like American white chocolate is. Like American white chocolate is just teeth hurtingly sweet.
Yes.
This is like cream with some sugar in it, sweet.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty good. It's not my favorite, but I don't dislike it like I think some other people do. It was fine. It's one note as opposed to the others were two notes.
Yeah. Hey, Mike.
Hi.
How do you feel about this one?
I actually I like this one more than the banana.
Okay.
Now I've actually had the Japanese do a sea salt ice cream,
Ooh.
which is a thing. And
Okay.
I had it homemade and it was extremely salty.
Okay.
This is a lot better.
Okay.
It's much more subtle.
Okay.
And I like this actually. I would eat this. So yeah,
Okay.
this is a plus for me.
How about you, Marty?
Same. Definitely like it better than the banana. It's a little different than what most Americans would be used to, but I enjoy the kind of little salt. It's a little too salty, I think, but it's still tasty. Definitely the better one from my end.
Okay, very good. So I think I already know the answers, but I'll go in reverse. Hey, Marty, I'm going to guess you're going for salt?
Yes.
Okay. Hey, Mike,
Yeah.
chalk you up for salt?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Salt me up for salt.
I'm gonna bounce around. Rocki, which one for you?
banana.
Banana. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm also gonna say banana.
Uh-oh.
Brian.
It's all on me.
I engineered a tie. I mean, there's a
Yeah.
tie.
Yeah.
Or Bruce is Richard Nixon because he is holding up
Yeah,
two
I am holding
fingers.
Not a crooking it.
Not a crook.
There you go. On Zoom.
Trying to get my jowls in there.
I'm bribable. Who wants their side to win? I accept PayPal.
Literally anything the other side says you
Cash
can have
App.
it.
I'll give you my banana Kit Kat.
Cold. I'm voting for banana.
Okay, Brian votes for banana. Banana moves to the next round. So here's what I want to do. Let's talk about our fallen heroes for a moment of lychee and ocean salt.
Lychee.
I'm sorry. I've always learned it the other way, and we just found out I'm wrong.
Google
Yes.
told you.
Google
Google.
told me I'm wrong. It is lychee.
Lychee.
I can smell the floralness just by bringing it near me.
So let's go through which take our fallen heroes to a party. Rocki, I'll start with you.
I still would because they are interesting experiences.
Fair. How about you, Brian?
Same. There's, even though I didn't pick them as winners, there's nothing that we've had so far of any of these four that I didn't like. I just like the other ones more. And like Rocki said, their experiences, they're novel. Like, where the hell are you going to find a lychee Kit Kat?
The H Mart.
Yes, but I mean, like where
No, exactly.
you know, and
In
also
America, where are you gonna
you
find that
shouldn't
outside of an
be
Asian
taking
market?
things to parties right now. That's very irresponsible.
Yeah, I will tell you, the Kit Kats, if you're close to an Asian market where you are, and you want to have a Kit Kat party, it is the most responsible party you can have with other people
Fair.
eating a thing. Because if you get them at any of the Asian supermarkets, it's usually a bag with like 10 portions, each individually wrapped. So what you can do is take all those individually wrapped portions, put them in something, and get them to people, whether you mail them or you do what I did, which was show up at people's house, throw them in their mailbox. No, I didn't do that because you're not supposed to use a mailbox for anything other than mail. So I put them near the mailbox where they
Yeah.
can find them.
Inside the front door.
Exactly.
Obviously.
Right inside the front door.
You committed
but
a federal crime, didn't you?
No, I didn't. It is probably...
And admitted to it on tape.
Shh.
You
It is,
Hey,
What year is this?
yeah. Don't you? It's
Reel
certainly
to
not
reel.
on tape. It is probably the most socially responsible way you can do kind of a tasting party right now. And probably the most reasonably priced way to do it, because you're not taking somebody like an entire bottle of wine, or or you're trying to give somebody too much food. It's not
Yep.
going to be that either. So you're not giving somebody like 17 full bags of potato chips. These are portioned at exactly the amount you would want to portion out to do like a tasting thing. So I would
And-
strongly suggest, if you're out there and you want to try this, it is a fun party game thing to do.
And it's seasonally appropriate. Think of it
Yeah.
as a fancy Halloween party.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
Halloween, but with fancy candy. You're
Indeed.
bougie or whatever.
So,
You
so
still say
Mike,
that? I don't know.
taking
Yes.
it to a party? Taking it to your tasting party, Mike?
I don't know. They're unique. I guess other people like them, so sure, why not?
Okay. How about you, Marty?
Wait, so are we talking only about the losers right now, or
We're
are we
only talking about the losers right now. We'll talk about the winners when it's winter time.
So no, I'm not taking into the losers because I'm going to eat them at home.
Okay. Fair enough. No friends get them. We're moving on to the finals now. Rocki, tell us the matchup and let's get into it.
Salt lemon versus, I believe it was banana.
A banana Easter
Banana.
paint.
Banana Easter paint.
Yeah.
Eat some paint, y'all. Wait, no.
I believe banana Easter paint might be either my roller derby or drag queen name.
So are we eating them one at a time again, or is it just, hey, just pick?
Do we really need to?
No.
I mean, you can, but
Yes.
you don't have to.
Yes, I'm going
I
to
need
because
to.
I have integrity.
I'm sorry. What's integrity?
Mm.
It's when you're willing to go through the motions of eating another delicious Kit Kat for the finals.
There's
Oh,
a
that
certain
sounds
amount
good.
of gravitas that is expected of us by our audience, and
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
What am I eating?
let them down. We're like
The
their
lemon
their
version.
uncle,
Oh, the lemon.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the lemon.
Oh yeah, the
again.
lemon. That still tastes like banana pudding.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, I'm with Mike. Banana pudding tastes much stronger of banana.
And
That's
not
true.
at all like a lemon.
Oh, okay, it tastes like lemon pudding. Whatever.
No, that's not that's not what that that's not what that's don't look that up. Just don't. That's not a thing.
There's
No.
a lemon party in my mouth.
There's no such
Nope.
thing.
Nope.
Everyone's invited.
No,
Kids,
that's
don't
not
ask
real.
your
No.
parents. Just Google it.
No. Stop it, Brian.
You're a bad person. You really are.
Family friendly show. What are you talking about?
Uh-huh.
So this time I'm going to pick random people in whatever order I feel like. I'm going to finish with myself. Marty, which one are you voting for to win?
Lemon.
Marty goes lemon. I'm going to go next with Brian.
Can't go wrong with a lemon party.
Brian goes lemon, but not in the party sense. Just
Well.
that lemons are tasty.
It's a
Rocki.
party.
Rocki, quickly answer this as loud as you can. Rocki.
Salt lemon.
Rocki goes lemon. Mike.
2 lemons, 1 cup.
No.
So, no.
No.
No. One
That's
lemon
wildly
bar.
inappropriate.
Just have
Wildly.
lemon. I'm going to talk over you because it's the only way to save things now. I am also going to go lemon. It's a full sweep. It's lemon.
Official party is a lemon party.
The official
Good point.
party is take lemon Kit Kats and bring them to your friends in a socially responsible way.
So the lemon party has won this election.
So
Lemon.
lemon is a good tasting Kit Kat flavor. So
It is.
let's talk about would you take them to a party?
Oh.
Rocki,
What kind of party, Bruce?
Oh no.
would you take
It's a
either of
lemon
these to
party.
a party?
Clearly a party that's gotten out of hand. Yes, I would.
I have to agree. If you're going to do the socially responsible party thing, these are the ones to have. And I don't
Yes.
think we need to hear anyone else's opinion.
Well done.
Because I think they probably largely agree with us, right?
What kind of party would you take these lemon
I would take
flavored
these to a
things
socially responsibly distant tasting party over Zoom, where I took these to people's houses, and then we all tried them on Zoom with one another.
You mean like
And
right now?
I mean,
Yeah,
like right
right
now.
And I
I
bet
won and I did.
anyone would like them, young or old people.
Hey, Brian. On top of being just the worst, the two that we've talked about, would you take them to a party?
Absolutely, I'd take all of them to a party. They're excellent and delicious.
Very good. How about you, Mike?
Oh yeah.
Now
Yeah,
that
I-
includes the banana, because you were not a big banana fan.
Well, like I said, I mean, I would take those for their just sort of interesting nature, and other people might like them. I think everyone will probably like the lemon.
Yep.
Because if you don't, there's something wrong with you.
Unless
Fair.
you just hate lemon.
Yeah.
In which case, there's something wrong with you. Because lemon is
Exactly.
awesome. Who
I'm
doesn't
not
like a
gonna
little
go
vitamin
quite as
C?
far as Mike would, but I get what he's saying.
Vitamin,
Vitamin
C
C?
is important.
Vitamin C is important. How about you, Marty?
I'm taking the banana to the party, but the lemon's not even making it to my house, let alone someone else's house.
I like how Marty's just going to eat like 20 of these in the car, like McDonald's French fries.
Sorry, guys, they only had the one flavor.
All they had was banana. And this one with a seahorse on it. I don't know what that is.
Here,
So
have a
very-
dolphin.
Oh, it's starfish.
So there, and with that, we have definitely crowned a winner in our snack brackets mini. It is lemon salt. I picked up the wrong one. I picked up
Salt
the yellow
lemon?
one. The
Salt
salt
lemon.
lemon. I picked up the one that's the Easter egg paint, and I was about to say it. The salt lemon Kit Kats have won our mini snack brackets. We might Kit Kat bracket again soon, because there are just a lot of flavored Kit Kats coming out, and they're always fun to do.
Indeed.
I would definitely suggest to you out there, if you are that type of person, collect these Kit Kats from near and far and find 9 other friends that want to talk about them and just have a Zoom call where you eat these and talk about them because they're fun. It's just a fun thing to do if you can handle the fact that you're eating that much candy.
And it's not a whole lot of candy because each one's like 3 bites.
Yeah, but it's
a lot of
It'll add up
Full of
once you
sugar.
get
Lot
like
of sugar
20
happening.
flavors. Yeah.
But if you're out there, especially if you have somebody else in your house and you want to each take one, you can. It's a thing. I would definitely say it's worth your time to do it.
Mhm.
We're going to move on to the next part of the show. Before we do, I want to thank some of our Patreon backers. If you back us for $10 or more on patreon.com/Party Gamecast. This is the point where we thank you personally. We want to thank Power to the Meeple at powertothemeeple.com. Once again, our main sponsor. They sponsor us for more than $10, so you're definitely getting your name said here. Thank you so much. Mike Cooper, thank you so much for sponsoring us at the $10 level and up. Mike Ganninger, thank you so much. I'm sorry. I read the mic in the line above. Bryan Ganninger, thank you so much. And I'm going to leave that edit in there because it's my fault. I could just stare directly at my names, but I keep looking up at the camera as if somebody's watching me there.
Someone's been streaming.
We're watching you,
Really,
Bruce.
you kind of, when you focus on the camera, it's like a bird. Your eyes are locked, but the rest of you moves.
Yeah, it's Jerry Reese. Thank you so much for your continued support of the show. And Stephen Quaid, thank you so much for your support. And everybody out there, thank you so much for your support at all of the levels. It is how we are able to keep making the show, keep the lights on, keep the website going, keep ourselves in Kit Kats and board games,
Num, num, num.
and sometimes video games, because today we are talking about a video game. Today we are talking about Among Us. It is the hotness, y'all, which is something we're usually not real good at.
No.
If something's hot, we talk about it like maybe 18 months later
Or 18 years.
or
Yeah.
18
Well-
years later.
Yeah.
Don't sell us short. We still have to edit.
Yeah,
is
we could
true.
edit and take 18 months like, we've done in the past more than once.
Oof.
That is true. What I hate is so we make these jokes right now.
Oh,
I'm like,
no.
oh,
And then in 2022, when
this will be
someone
out at
hears
the
it,
end of the week, and this will be an interesting little jaunt we took.
Sure. Oh.
And then it'll be like all the
Uh-huh.
jokes we made for the Snackamania episode where we're like, well, it's almost WrestleMania, so it'll probably be out in 4 months, and it came out 18 months later.
it was recorded in the late Reagan administration.
Yeah, exactly. We're like, man, I don't know how George Bush is going to do.
Did you see that Dukakis in
The first one.
the other day? What's
Yeah.
up with that?
Well,
Well,
at least it's not that Iran-Contra thing again.
Indeed. I heard Ollie North was going to run. Gosh darn it.
I hear he's making a speech near the wall. Should
Oh,
be good.
And for that, thank you very much. That was your history lesson, kids. We like to think we do really well in the 13 to 21 demographic. That is none of you.
Yeah, ask your grandparents about all the stuff we just referenced.
Exactly.
You need to go back 2 generations.
But we're now going to appeal to you because we're talking about the hot new game. We're talking about Among Us. Mike, you have agreed to be the person to explain this. So try to break down Among Us for us.
I have agreed to be the person.
Yes.
It's us.
So it is a hidden trader game. First, let me tell you, this is, as Bruce mentioned, it is a computer game, but it is available on multiple platforms. You can get it on your computer, I think only through Steam on your computer. I don't know if there's another way, but it's certainly available through Steam. You can also get it on Android or iOS. So if you have an Apple product or an Android product, you can play it on your phone or your iPad or whatever. That being said, it is a hidden trader game with a bunch of people running around a ship trying to fix things and make them work again, and I guess complete tasks. But that really doesn't happen. And there's at least one person who is not trying to complete tasks and fix things unless the task is murder. And it is the trader's job to sabotage things and kill people. And every time someone discovers a body, a corpse of one of your crewmates, they can report it, and then it starts a voting process where everyone votes on who they think the traitor is. And if someone gets the most votes, they get voted off of the ship, which in a spaceship is not good, with obvious consequences to them, and it tells you whether or not they were the traitor. And if you manage to vote all of the traitors off, then the crew wins. If the traitors either kill everyone but I think if there's an equal number of traitors and
because you have to have the most votes to get voted off. So if there's an equal number, then you'll never get voted off.
Yeah.
Or if I think can time run out?
The crew can also complete all of their tasks.
No, they can't. No,
it's happened once or twice.
Really? Because I've never seen it happen.
It is technically a win condition.
I mean, I guess technically.
It's a win condition that never happens.
The other way the imposters can win is if they sabotage and it doesn't get stopped in time, and it's one of the lethal ones, like the reactor blows up.
Yes.
Then everyone dies, and then technically the imposter wins.
And you can have, I believe, up to 10 people playing.
Yep.
And the number of imposters can be changed. We've tried playing it with varying numbers of people and varying numbers of imposters. We've had up to 3 imposters, and there are also 3 maps you can use. And I believe they said they're going to be making more maps because they're going to be expanding this. They originally were going to make a second one, but they said that this one, the population who was playing it just blew up so much. It got so popular so quickly that they canceled the second one and are just going to expand this one.
Yep.
So more maps, more options. I think there are going to be more possible players at the same time. It's going to go up to like 15 or 20. So yeah, that's Among Us.
And most importantly, hopefully more hats.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So there is a lot of customization. There's also a lot of different price points on this game. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about between, I think, all of us, we used almost every possible way you can play this game except for iPhone. But so if you get it on either the Google Play Store or the App Store for Apple, the game is free. If you get it free, you're going to see advertisements. If you decide you don't want to see advertisements and you want to pay the company that made the game, you can do it for $1.99. For $1.99, you no longer see advertisements. You can play all the games, and you're also given some hats. If you want anything else, there's clothing and stuff. You have to pay for all of it individually, and that can become quite pricey quickly. If you get it on Steam, it is $4.99. Am I right, Steam folks?
I believe
Yeah.
it was,
Mhm.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
It
$5.
also came.
Yep.
It also came with a bunch of hats and some skins, which are clothes.
Yeah.
It seems like you get more than you would when you pay the $2 on Android, which makes sense because it's
Yeah.
5 is more than 2.
Yeah.
Yes.
It also seems weird if you do the math in all the money it would cost somebody on a device to get up to the computer version. It would be like $19.
Yeah, it's
So-
the best deal if you want the most stuff to get the Steam.
Yeah. But this also means if you're in a house playing and one person has it on Steam and the other 7 people in the house with you all have it on devices, you all can play together. So let's talk a little bit about, let's first get into the play experience of the game itself, and then we'll talk about the nitty-gritty of how it feels on devices and what you can do there. So we've played quite a few of these like social deduction games like The Resistance or Secret Hitler or Werewolf or One Night Ultimate Werewolf or Galapagos or
I'm the
Donner Dinner
Resistance.
Party.
I'm the
Or-
resistance.
There's
Rocky's
so
not the Resistance.
many of these
I'm a werewolf.
games. Even to a lesser extent, Win, Lose, or Banana, I guess.
When there's a
Win,
banana.
Lose, or Banana.
Or that one with
So-
dwarves.
Let's talk about these a little bit. Brian, I know you're a big fan of sort of these types of games. So, first, like, how do you feel about this? And second, do you feel this is kind of a worthy thing, even if you have some of those other games? And let's first talk about it, not in the current environment we're in.
Okay.
Because I think we're going to have to say that if you're in this world with us and you are listening to us at the time when sort of quarantine is still potentially a thing where you are, that this takes on a brand new dynamic that we will also get to. But right now, just on the surface of it being a game you'd play with your friends, you are maybe of all of us the biggest fan of this type of game. How do you feel about it?
I really like it. Yeah, this hidden role type thing is usually one of my favorite genres of game, and it's simple. Like it's not as complicated as some of the other ones, but I think that's a benefit because it's easy, it's approachable. You can get it on any kind of device that you might have, as far as I can tell. So you can, people who are various levels of game savvy and tech savvy, as long as you know how to install an app on your phone and have played any game on it ever, even Candy Crush, you'll figure this one out. It's like the bar is low, but it still provides a fun experience. Like the games are silly, but they're not, none of them are too hard. Some of them are a little weird, but once you figure out the trick, they're very simple. So nothing's off-puttingly difficult. It's sort of one of those things where you're bringing your own party a little bit, because it depends on who you're playing with, as to how fun it is. And you're supposed to, like, if you're playing on Zoom or something or Discord, you want to mute everyone during the game so that nobody says anything incriminating. But afterwards, like during the voting sessions, it's so much lively back and forth. Sometimes it's real quiet, but other times you're like, I saw him. Bruce murdered someone right in front of me. And then Bruce says, well, that's what I saw you, and you can have a good back and forth. You get some lively talk. So I think those are all the highlights of that genre that I like, is like the animated banter that's not serious, but you can still be accusatory without like hating someone after the game.
Yeah.
If you're the kind of person who can lean into that of like, Bruce is a bastard, he murdered him, but then afterwards you go out and have a drink together or whatever. If you're that kind of person, which I am, then this brings all of the basic parts of that experience in an easy, approachable format that anybody can get, for free or for, pocket change, basically. So no, I really like it. I do hope that they add more maps. I hope that they add, I don't know, more players maybe, but for what it is, it's very good. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they add to it when they expand it.
And just some things to note if you're out there listening, because I want to give you kind of a realistic idea of our experiences with this game. So we've played it. We probably have about 2 hours under our belt. Our first hour was played 5-player. And at the end of 5-player, we said, well, I think I understand what this game is, but we've played a lot of games in the past where when you change the player count, they become a significantly different game. So we got people together. Say it again, Brian?
Oh, sorry. I would say 2 hours is under. It was probably more than that today.
Yeah, it might be more than that.
Yeah, we played like
2 or 3 hours.
Yeah.
Because this is the kind of game where we played it today as we're recording this with a bunch of folks that were kind enough to help us out. We had the folks from the Great Big Table. So Jim and Adrian and Scout from Great Big Table helped us out. And I'm trying to remember, I will look up. We had a 10th person that played with us that knew Jim and Adrian.
Oh, yeah. His name was Kent. He was from... Yeah.
I was trying to remember the podcast. Kent is his name, and he does an RPG podcast. But he jumped in to play with us as well. So we played at 5. We have then played like at 7 and 8 and 10 and 9. Like we've played all these numbers as we've gone along. But I would say Rangers played a ton of it. And Ranger was like helping us out. Like, oh, well, there's this kind of weird thing you should look for. Oh, there's this strategy you can do where you kill somebody and then you immediately report it. And then you're like, oh my goodness, why didn't other person in the room report it? So there's like still things to learn hours into the game. Also, the mini games all kind of feel like a very simple mini game. It's like match the color, match the shape, grab this key and put it in this keyhole. But by what I mean by that is literally take your finger and just move that key over, or pull a card out of your wallet and make sure you swipe it at the correct speed. Like they're all little like things that take up time and take your attention away from what else is going on in the room, but aren't difficult in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, it's a nice balance of like, it's a quick little thing that'll occupy you for 5 to 20 seconds so that you have to be exposed to possibly being murdered, or you might miss somebody doing something nefarious near you. But it doesn't distract for long. They're not hard, but they're all, and if you look at what they're doing, sometimes they're clever. Like you're rewiring, like the match colors is like draw a line between the blue wire to the blue wire and the pink wire to the pink wire. And then you've fixed the wiring harness and you got to go do that in 3 different rooms. Or like there's one where you hold down a lever to empty the garbage chute and then you can see the garbage spit out into space and float away.
Yeah. I would say if you've played Space Team, which is a game we've talked about on the show, it's like the easiest Space Team.
Yeah, it's
I would say things feel.
Yeah, it's wacky stuff. It's a little more sensical than Space Team, but it is the same kind of like do this goofy task.
Yeah, to get this thing that you need to get done.
Yeah.
So let's ask Mike. Mike, how did you feel about this game as a game? And then we'll talk about once again suitability for the times that we're in.
I thought it was. It's very similar to a lot of other Hidden Trader games. In a way, it reminded me of a very lighthearted Battlestar Galactica of all the things.
Okay.
Because it's another Hidden Trader game. You're on a ship in space.
Yep.
And all sorts of random stuff is happening, and the traders are not Cylons in this, but they're still trying to get you all killed, or the rest of you killed. And it was okay. I wasn't as fascinated with it as some of you. But I don't know. There's something about playing a Hidden Trader game where you have to be quiet for so much of it that doesn't seem engaging to me.
Okay.
Because if you are killed, then you have to be quiet. You just have to be.
Yes.
Because you're not allowed to say so-and-so killed me, because that just ruins the game. And the way we do it, once the game starts, everyone is just muted.
Yeah. And
we don't talk again until, someone reports a body and we have to vote, because then we have to discuss. But there's so much downtime. It's not a very long game.
No.
So that it's not like you're 20 minutes sitting there quiet. But even so, a significant proportion of the game is quiet, and that makes it a little less sociable. So
I can definitely say I agree with that. I feel like, and let's talk about this for a second. I feel like doing the tasks and stuff, I don't quite notice how long I've had to be quiet, or I've had to have my microphone muted. So I think that makes it a little bit better. Although I wouldn't say that at the core the thing you're saying is wrong at all. It's not. But I feel like I don't feel it as bad.
Yeah, I think you kind of notice it if you take a moment while you're playing and go, wow, no one's talked for a while.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But you have to have that moment of realization, and then once you have it once, you keep noticing it. It's sort of weird.
I would say this almost fits under, and if I can pull in a completely unrelated game, this is the same discussion that's often had about code names. That some people say, well, Codenames is a party game. And you're like, yeah, it's a party game unless you're not actively playing and you walk by. Then it's 12 people staring at a table in absolute silence. And it's one of those, if you're engaged with the game and you're playing it, your mind is racing. But is it a party game, I think, is always a very valid question of which you can take either side for exactly that same reason. Where you're like, no one's smiling, no one's happy. No one's, is this a party game? Because I don't see any of the markings, the trappings of a party game anywhere around here. Whereas I would say something like Space Team is the opposite. You see no game pieces whatsoever, but you see all of the yelling and screaming of a party game.
Oh, yeah. Lots of yelling and screaming.
Oh, definitely. So let me pull you in, Marty. How do you feel about this game as a game? Once again, a couple minutes, we're going to talk about suitability for the current environment, which I think certainly makes this a more important game right now. But how do you feel about just as the game it is presenting itself as?
I'm not a fan of hidden trader games.
Okay.
So I'm with Mike on that, where it's like, of the hidden trader games, I think this is a better version than most of the ones played. But I would play it. It's just not something I would go on my way to play. And I get the same critique that there's sections of it where there's just absolutely no talking, and it's one of those games where the tasks you're doing are some of them are a little obtuse, where it's hard to figure out what you're doing, and you really need someone to tell you how the game is run, so it's not quite intuitive. And it's just I mean, I understand, I can see why a lot of people like it. I'm just not one of those people.
That's perfectly fair. I can understand that. I would say that, yeah, I agree. There's nothing, I don't know that I come to the same conclusion you do, but I think everything you said is 100% correct. This is, and often the phrase I like to use is this is still a hidden trader game, and it's not going to change your religion. If you hate hidden trader games coming in, I think this might be more palatable to you than a lot of them.
I agree with that. Yeah.
But because I also hate them, and I find myself really, I find this to be a very endearing game. But I agree with you. I wouldn't want to play it as much as, for instance, like Bryan, I think would probably play quite a bit of it. For me, like the 1 hour, 1.5 hour mark is plenty enough of this game for me.
I think why you find it endearing, and why a lot of people find it endearing, that it's something we haven't touched on, is its incredibly cutesy nature. The graphics are very cartoony. Even the brutal murders are very, very cartoony.
Yes.
The outfits are silly. Even the base sort of person thing that you are is very sort of silly, cartoony looking, simplistic thing.
Yeah, you look kind of like a jelly bean in a spacesuit.
Kind of, yeah.
It shares a very similar aesthetic to another game that was hotter a month or two ago, and it's still a little bit up there. Fall Guys.
Yes. Another
has
jelly
the same
bean
aesthetic of like just a running jelly bean that bad things are going to happen to. So let's talk to you, Rock. How do you feel about this one? I know you are a lot closer to liking these sorts of games than Marty, Mike, and I.
Yes.
So what's your opinion on all this?
I don't mind the silence because you're focused on what you're doing, and it's. I would imagine if we were all in the same room with a lot of without actually talking. And then finally, once we all come together and have to have a discussion, it's everybody frantically starts yelling and, oh my God, and this thing, and this thing. And in some of the other hidden role games, it's a lot of, I think it's them. And it's not as involved. It's just, all right, everybody point. Okay, cool. Now we move on to this next step. And it seemed more entertaining and involved for me.
I can see that.
I think another selling point for me is that once you've been killed, either through murder or they voted you out, whether you're a traitor or not, you can still play. You're not just sitting there watching everybody else play. Once you're dead, if you're not an imposter, you can still do your tasks and try and help your side win. Or if you were an imposter, you can still sabotage things and try and kill everyone.
And things, so in the game, like walls are super important because that's how you block rooms off.
Yes.
So once you're a ghost, you can fly through them. So you can do your things much easier. And if you're the imposter, you can kind of stay with one of the other imposters and see when they kill someone. Because essentially when you kill someone, then you end up overheated and you have to wait to cool down. So what you can do is see, once they've cooled down, are they going to be able to kill somebody else? Or are they nowhere near anybody? And I can like turn all the lights out. Or I can affect the oxygen. Or I can do something else to help them.
Yes.
Whereas if it looks like they have a chance for a killing spree, I'm not going to touch anything and let them do what they need to do and help in a different way. Which I do think is something that's kind of neat about this one.
Of course, you still can't communicate with them because you're dead.
And the
You
way
are
the
a ghost. Don't talk.
And
the
they
way
can't
the game
see
is
you.
intended to function, everything's supposed to be through text. That you're supposed to have a chat window, and then once you're dead, you literally can't chat. What has brought this game up and made it such a big deal right now is combining this with either Discord or Zoom or whatever your preferred communication happens to be. Maybe a party line. Maybe you exist with a phone connected to your wall from 40 years ago.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's got a party line,
No,
Bruce.
I don't think they exist anymore.
This is kind of a party line.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
But however you can communicate with a bunch of people through actual honest-to-goodness speaking, I think really ups this game quite a bit.
Yes. I also think that the quick nature of the game, sometimes in Hidden Trader games, they take so long that by the time, if you've been out for a long time, by the time it reaches the end, you're like, I don't want to do that again.
Yeah.
But this is so, like, you're not mad for very long, and the game doesn't last very long, that you're like, all right, let's try this again. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this time. And it's like eating popcorn.
Plus, I think some of the magic of this game, a little bit of the secret sauce, is the difference in the stupid, simple things that you do. Because so if we're playing, even my favorites, and this is not a genre I have a lot of love for, but like Cash and Guns is a great game. But Cash and Guns is wash, rinse, repeat. Wash, rinse, repeat. Decide what card you're going to put, point a gun at someone, see if you intimidate them, flip it over, figure the money out. Okay, put more money out. Decide a card you're going to play, point a gun at someone. What's the other one that you love so much, Brian, with the Tontine? Dead Last?
Dead Last, yeah. Yeah, that's the same kind of, you vote, you convince people for 2 minutes, you vote, someone dies, you do it again. And yeah, it has the speediness and repeatability of those.
Yeah.
Although like in Dead Last, you're building towards something because every time someone dies, the game changes a little and then there's an end. Whereas this, it's just a new, but it does have that speediness of like, I feel like even a long game of this might take 15 minutes. Probably
Maybe.
not. It's probably less than 10 most of the time. Like the longest I could see it, like, because the longer it goes, the more likely the traders are just murdering people that you haven't found.
Or you've
and
got
that's
some person on your team that has some distant thing to do, and they happen to be far enough away that nobody realizes they're about to accomplish it.
yeah. But I mean, a lot of like it's happened to me more than once today, where I was the last one alive because I was way over off on some far part of the map, and they've murdered every other member of the crew. And I'm like, oh, I'm the only one left alive, and there's it's just me and an imposter, and they're gonna murder me because I can't murder them, and so like it has inbuilt mechanisms to prevent like the long drag that some of these games have, where like if you have a cautious trader in some of these games who doesn't want to reveal themselves, they can just bide their time for all afternoon, and then no one wants to play a second game or ever play that game again. And it doesn't do that. Like it's speedy, it's fun, it's cartoony. I don't know. There's a lot.
Fair enough. Now, I think the other thing that we need to talk about is its suitability in this current time. Because that's definitely something we have to talk about because, gosh darn it, that's what we're doing right now. We can't meet for the show. We can't necessarily play a ton of standard party games because we can't be in the same place with each other. What has made this so big is its ability to be played this way. So let's talk about that. How suitable is this? Does that make it better? Do we think in a world where we don't have to be so far apart that it's still going to be popular? Let me start with you, Rock. How do you feel about this stuff?
I think it would be fun either in person or the way we're doing it now. I don't find a problem with the way we're doing it now. I did find it interesting that I found myself playing with people that we would not normally play board games with because I don't know if I've met any of those people in person. If I have, I don't remember, and I apologize because that's just me. I'm so sorry. But I think it's effective. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me jump over Marty, because I know we've talked about some of these things in the past because you're playing a bunch of games in these formats. How does its suitability in the current era kind of feel?
I think it's perfect for what it is. It's like it is a hidden trader game that you can play over the computer and you don't have to be in the same room. I don't know how it would work in the same room because I know I made vocal reactions that would give stuff away if people were next to me. So I think the fact that you're separated actually helps the game a little bit in that respect.
Yeah, being in the room with Bruce? Yeah.
Yeah, I have to say, every once in a while, I just can't help it because I'm in the, like, there was one of them today where I was in the middle of doing a thing that I had not understood how to do at the beginning and finally understood it. And then all of a sudden, I was just dead. And I made it an audible gasp.
My favorite was last week when we played it the first time. There was a moment on audio before we'd learned to mute everyone where all of a sudden you just hear Marty go, "Get back here, Rocki!" And then Rocki's dead. Like 5 seconds later, we find Rocki's body. I'm like, okay,
no. Oh.
And then someone, I don't know who, murdered the person he was chasing.
You know it's trouble when someone makes a beeline for you.
Yeah, there's no reason. If you're a crew member, chasing does nothing. You can't interact with other people. You can just look at them. So there's no reason to run after someone.
Unless you want to murder them.
The only reason to run after them is because you're going to murder them.
Yeah, it's either that or you want to stay close to them to figure out who they're murdering or not murdering.
Or you just stay together. If there's 2 imposters and 4 of you, you're probably okay. Unless both imposters murder both of you, I guess.
Yeah.
But
one in theory should see
safety in numbers is usually the way.
So what are your thoughts about this, Mike? I don't think you're not playing a ton of games like with people during this unless they're exclusively video games. But how did you feel about this kind of as a sort of a cohesive experience?
I think it's necessary to be played this way, actually. I think, like Rocki said, being in a room with you, I can imagine that you're going to be reacting. And if you're around people, I mean, even if you're in like say an apartment, you're sharing an apartment with some people and like you're playing with someone who's in the next room, like one of you is probably going to say something at the wrong time and the other is going to hear something through a wall or something and it's going to tip them off. And it's just, it just works better if you're not in the same place and you can mute the mics and there's no way that anyone can hear you. So there's no way to tip anyone off and there's no communication that's going to ruin things.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I at the same time that I'm saying that I think the silence makes this a little less sociable, it's still necessary for the game to be played. At least played properly and not ruined for everyone.
I can see that. And the thing I'll say to everybody is Rocki and I had to watch like other better Twitch streamers to figure out the correct way to do it, just because I don't know. For Rocki, maybe for me, the technology is not always like the first thing I think of. So I don't initially think like, oh, I'm in Zoom. As the person running the Zoom, I can just mute everybody. It just doesn't occur to me at first because I'm not that into Zoom. But I would say if you're playing this with people and you're running the room, the main thing to do is just mute everybody's mics, mute yourself out, and then come back as you can. If you're a ghost, you do not bring yourself back. If you're dead, you're not allowed to talk, and you just don't unmute yourself. And it does make the game work exactly as it's supposed to.
Yeah, like the game even says, there's a little guy that comes on and says shh at the beginning to remind you that you're not supposed to talk.
Yeah. And the first time we played it last week, we were treating it like you would an in-person board game where we're like, shh, everybody, just don't talk. Okay, here we go. And then we just left the microphones on because it just what felt right.
Yeah, and we did talk a little, but we were trying to be good about not revealing things, but it was, you would get occasional noises or like, man, I can't figure this out, which I'll admit I did a couple times when I was the imposter just to sound like I was trying to do a task.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Yeah, so it's like, I can't figure this thing out. Just like sometimes you just go stand by a panel when you're the imposter because you know that panel does something for normal players, so you look like you're doing something.
Yeah. And I would say for this, it works much better to just switch all the communications off so nobody can. It does feel a little lonely, but I do agree with what everybody's saying. It is almost essential for this game to function.
Yeah, I can't see it in person working.
Yeah,
well.
I mean, like Rocki and I had some experiences. We did our best. I think if Rocki was one level above me, if she was upstairs and I was downstairs, it probably would function. Because even if I exclaimed maybe, she couldn't hear it.
Well, and it's also like one or two people, maybe. He's a quiet person. But I think it's also
Bruce
like
is so quiet.
If there's all 10 of us in a room, it's different than if there's 2 of you out of the 10 in a room. Or because then you also have like facial expressions. If we're on Zoom, you could turn your camera off, or some people never turn their camera on. I don't know, those weird people.
Yeah. I mean, that's a weird proclivity you happen to have. I get it.
It is strange, but some of us are better at poker faces than others, or some of us will just make a little noise, and if you're muted, if there's 10 people in a room, 10 of you are not going to be perfectly silent, perfectly expressionless for the entire game. Someone's going to do something, even if it's like, oh, I died. And now you're like, well, in the back of your brain, you're like, oh, I heard Bruce make an I died noise. Now I got to go figure out who can find Bruce's body so we can vote, which is not a thing I should know. And so it changes. So I think like the other people are saying, it's almost needs to be played remotely,
and it's a case where I think the technology just helps. I mean, we've told this story before, and I'm not going to tell it again, but I will reference it. The famous "Mom, but can you see the gargoyle?" story. Well, can I see the gargoyle, Bruce? Can you see the gargoyle? I don't know, Bruce. Can I see it? It's on the table, Mom. Can you see the gargoyle? I don't know, Bruce. Can I see there's none of, do I know that Bruce died with the communications off? Which I think is the best. Even I have my camera on and I had it on for the whole game. In hindsight, I would turn my camera off so that people couldn't see like, oh, Bruce, he's not talking, but he just made a lot of arm motion.
I tried to keep a poker face because I had my camera on too, and I don't know how well it worked, but I hope it worked.
Well, I know if you're out there and you play poker, it becomes the fantastic difference of playing online versus playing in person, where online you can be angry about it and you can yell and scream and no one knows. And you can, and there's something kind of freeing about that. Like I can make my yelp when I get stabbed and no one knows. And I do agree with Mike. This is exactly how this game should be played. And I think that may explain a lot of why it's doing so well right now. It is a game, and we've talked about a few of these. The Jackbox stuff comes to mind very quickly to me, where it is a game where the technology is helping in such an amazing way to do better than any cardboard version would have done, that you have to kind of stand back and note it. So
it's the right time.
The final question that we run through here each and every show, would you take it to a party? And I'd like you to tell me both cases. Would you take it to a party in the times we're currently in? And then if you could go out in the world and be a person, do you think this would still be compelling to you? I'm going to start. I'll go reverse. Let me start with Marty.
So I think that when we go back to a more normal world, I think it will still be a thing, but just won't be as big, because I think there are better options for when you're all together. Okay. But I think that this is a very good game that fills the niche for a lot of people for what they want.
Fair. How about you, Mike? How do you feel about it? Both, once again, in the kind of current environment that we're in, and once kind of we return, quote unquote, to more a normal place.
Well, currently, I think that it is kind of making the best of a situation because we can't be in the same place as each other. We can't play, the in-person games. We can't sit at a giant table and all point at Bruce in dead last. Sorry, Bruce, but you got to go.
It happened here
sometimes. Too. Yeah.
Nothing changed, just the technology, not the feelings.
Yeah, but it's not everyone trying to kill you. It's only like a couple of people in this.
Just everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the rest of us are just not trying to stop it.
Once this, in a world where we don't have to quarantine, we don't have to distance, and we can see each other again. I think this definitely fades. I actually think it's going to start fading before that.
Okay.
I think this is one of those things that burns very brightly for a while, but I don't think it has a lot of staying power. It might have another flare up if and when they put out this big expansion that they're going for.
Yeah.
But I mean, Fall Guys was gigantic too,
Yes.
and it's faded pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's faded. It was hot a month ago. We were gonna cover it on the show, and then it faded, and this became big in the time between when we were talking about the planning of this episode and this episode coming.
Yeah. So I don't know if that is an exhortation for us to do these episodes quicker when the things are still hotter, or just to wait until these things calm down.
I think it definitely shows, and we'll do a little bit. This is part of us actually having this real talk with each other, and part of us doing something for the show. But I think when a game looks more like the kind of stuff that we would play, like this does, then I think we try to catch it while it's still hot and hope it sticks around. If it looks more like a video game and less something we would normally have covered on the show, like Fall Guys did, I think we wait. So I think this is a rare case where the let's wait on Fall Guys presented a game that feels more like that crossover of a board game and a video game. Because Fall Guys is a very cool idea, but I don't know that it feels much like a board game. It's just a very cool thing people are doing. This, to me, still feels like there's some kind of like board game roots to it a little bit.
Well, yeah, but we also cover party games and games you take to parties.
Absolutely true.
Oh, do we?
We certainly do.
So
Brian.
I've been told.
Yeah.
Between the Kit Kats.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
But of course, between the Kit Kats. So Brian, how do you feel about this? Once again, we're talking about both cases, the current era, and what things could become.
In the current era, absolutely. This might be my top take to a Zoom or Discord or whatever type party.
Okay.
It's universally recognized at this point. Even
Yes.
people who haven't played it have probably, if they're the kind of person who's going to be on a Zoom party, they've probably at least heard of it. Unless you're Zoom partying with like grandma or something, in which case, awesome.
Yeah.
But probably not the game for that. But yeah, this is really well suited to the sort of options that we have right now. So I think it's really good for that. As far as afterwards, I guess there's two ways to take that. And I kind of lean a little towards Mike on that, where given the amount of time that it's probably going to be before we can start gaming in person,
Yeah.
the chances that this is still popular 6-9 months from now might have faded, or it might just be that we've been doing this for so long that people just want to do something different. So when that time comes, this may or may not carry over. But as far as appropriateness for that sort of thing, I would still take it. It wouldn't be let's all hang out at my place and have an Among Us night. But
Yeah.
like if we were hanging out at game night, I would say, hey, we got to kill 15 minutes while we're waiting for everyone to get here. Let's play Among Us with the 6 of us that are here. Or we played a really long board game and we need a 15-minute mental break. Let's, play this. It's even faster than loading up Jackbox.
Yeah.
But it's that same kind of thing where we just want to, it's not the focus of the night, but I think it would fit perfectly into a game night as just a short, let's play 2 rounds of this, 20 minutes and we're done, and do something else. But it's light. It's easy. You can do it if you need people to need to take a smoke break, play it on your smoke break. You don't need to be, it's better if you're out there. And if we're all, so I think it has a place. I think it's no longer at the top of my hierarchy, but I think this is the kind of game that I would play in most situations where I would play a game, and I would recommend it to anyone that I was with. So, yeah.
Fair. And how about you, Rock? Once again, we're looking for both situations in the current era, and then once kind of we return to a little bit more quote unquote normal. What are your feelings? Would you take it to a party? All that kind of stuff.
I would take it to both kinds of party, I believe, because it works very well over the intertubes, as we have discussed in length. But I think that the convenience of not having to actually bring a thing helps it, because you could do it when you're, in real life, if you're waiting somewhere for a thing, or if you're at a party and you're not doing something else. Hey, want to play this thing? And everyone just whips out their phone. Ta-da, done. Kind of like Space Team, really, because you don't need a box. So that's pretty nice. And it's free, which helps a lot.
Indeed.
I mean, well, can be free.
Yeah.
If you don't want pants.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes pants are optional, Mike. Have you learned nothing from the last few months?
That's the party.
So that's why you don't have a camera on.
Yeah. I don't even remember what I was saying. I'm not sure the attraction of this game is long lasting, as we've kind of touched on. It just might be just novel and a thing to do now, and I'm not sure that in a bunch of months people will be still as excited about it. Maybe once they come up with new content, new maps and stuff, maybe, or up the player count. But I don't know. I know people are playing the heck out of it right now. So
Yeah, they are.
yeah. I don't know. I think it could work both ways. I wouldn't even mind if we were all in the same room actually at a party, because of the nature of the quickness of the game, even if Bruce like spoils the fact that he's been murdered. I don't think that there's very long to be upset about that. And even if you're like, oh, well, now I need to go find a body, something else is going to happen that's going to interrupt that anyway. Someone else is going to die or something.
Fair.
Yeah. I don't think that's a huge issue for me.
I can see that. I think I'm going to jump in and by and large agree with everybody's saying, although I think this could last longer than we think. I thought the same thing was going to happen with Secret Hitler, because like it's not a theme that's super awesome, although I guess sometimes more topical than we had really expected it to be. But like, I thought it was going to be the kind of game that was like, oh, it's kind of offensive a little bit. People love it for a little while, and it's still everywhere. Every house I go to, it's become what I kind of call the Seen It effect, which is like people that you knew that didn't own a television owned a copy of Seen It, and you were like, "Why do you have it?" And they're like, "I don't know, somebody gave it to me." It sort of feels like this is kind of could be the sort of game to approach that area where people like this idea of a hidden trader game a lot, and this is a super accessible version. As far as would we play video games together? I went to a lot of Jackbox parties where like we were all in a room together and it did not matter that it was a video game. We would be playing board games and people I knew were like, oh, we could play another board game or let's just all sit around and play Jackbox. And you would end up in 6 hours of Jackbox. So I think the possibility that this game maybe has more staying power than we expect could be possible. I think, like I said, Jackbox parties just tell me that the thought of a bunch of people staring at their phone screens all together is not like a thing that's not going to happen. I think there's something about the convenience of this game that's going to keep it around, because I think even when we get back to a more normal place, now, for a lot of people, you would have said, it's Wednesday night, I'm not going to come out with you, I'm not going to go play games because I have to be ready for work tomorrow. And now you can say, sure, I'll play 3 games of Among Us for half an hour instead of watch a terrible sitcom. So I think it may have more staying power than we think it's going to. Quite possibly.
One thing I don't think we mentioned, though, is I think kind of like Jackbox is that this game kind of requires a critical mass. I think you need at least 5 or 6. When we were playing at 4 and 5, it just wasn't as much fun. But when we were like 8, 9, it was I enjoyed myself a lot more.
Yeah, and that is, I'm glad you bring that up, because it felt like we had brought that idea across, but you're right, we never explicitly said it. At 5 players, it was all right. It was not a bad game, but after about an hour of it, I was like, I think I see what this does. And I remember Mike specifically, much more than everyone else, was like, do we have it? Is this it? We got it? Are we good? Can we stop?
Yeah. At 5 players, it was like we'd seen everything there was going to be. There was only ever going to be 1 trader. If you had 2, it was ridiculous because 1 death and it's over.
Well, you weren't allowed to at 5. The minimum for 7 players to get 2 traders.
Oh, I hadn't hosted it, so I didn't really see
it. And it does that because that math. At 5, if you kill 1 person, with 2 traders, you win. Yeah. So it doesn't let you. But no, I agree that at the lower numbers, it's okay, but you need to get to the threshold for 2 traders. And likewise, when you get to 3 traders, it's almost impossible to not win or it's almost possible for the crew to win if you got 3 traders. Yeah. Because it's super easy for each one of them to kill someone, and then they're 1 death away from winning. So if they each kill someone, you can only vote one of them off, and then if one of them kills one of you, it starts, the math works in their favor better. But yeah, I think that's a very good point, that under 7, it's a different game. It's still fun, but then it really falls into we'll play this for 10 minutes because we literally have nothing else to do until the other people get here.
And that's what I think. an update that can play 15 or 20 is going to do a lot to keep this
Oh,
thing in
yeah.
front of everybody.
I could see 15 with like 4 traders could be
Yeah.
just chaos. Now,
Yeah,
it probably has to
Definitely
be a
going to need
longer
bigger
game.
maps.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because I can say at 10, I didn't really realize, because Rocki hosted all of our games, I didn't know 10 was the max. So at 10, I was like, oh man, if we could just get like 5 or 6 more people, this thing really gets humming. And then everybody was like, yeah, they're hoping to be able to build more than 10 people. And I'm like, oh, so this is the max.
Yeah, the max is 10 and 3 traders.
Yeah. So I do agree that probably 6 is probably okay. 7 is really where, at least in I think in our experience, we found, it did start to really hum at 7, 8, 9, 10.
And I think we tried it with 3 traders, and it was just over too quickly because it was just murder, done.
Yeah.
Yeah. If the traders all murder one person and then manage to make it through the first round without dying, all they have to do is kill one person, and then the game's over. So if the bodies don't get found fast enough and they just kill 4 people, the game's and it's possible.
Oh, speaking of which, there is one thing we didn't mention, which is that there are cooldowns in the game. So you can't just murder literally. If you are the trader, you have a 30-second timer after you murder someone where you can't murder again.
Yeah, and same thing with sabotage. If you sabotage, there's a 30-second countdown on sabotaging again for whoever did it. I don't know if it affects the other traders.
It does. Sabotage and murder are kind of both give you the same cooldown.
Okay, so it's not an individual countdown on murder?
I
thought it
don't
was...
believe it is. No, I believe it's the traders have that countdown if there is a murder. Because at least as a ghost, I was sabotaging things. I talked about that earlier, that one of my strategies was to stick with the other person. And if they had no one close enough to kill, then I would sabotage something.
Yeah.
So I think that's definitely something to be considered. And one thing I will note is, and I guess we just let video games off with a free pass, is we allow them to not balance themselves correctly. So this game handles that by giving you all kinds of levers and knobs you can change. Hey, do you think it should be 2 traders? Make it 2 traders. Hey, do you think the cooldown should be 45 seconds? Make it 45 seconds. Hey, do you think, like, all these different things, and it tells you at the beginning, that you're playing with a maximum of 10 people and 2 traders in this place with a 15-second cooldown and a 45-second cooldown. And you do have to play the mini games instead of just touching the panels. And like, there's all these different things that you can kind of switch on and switch off and dial in at different levels. So if for some reason when you play it with whatever they give you as the pat standard and it doesn't work for your crowd, you can start turning dials and knobs and levers till you get the game that you feel is the proper balance for your group.
Can you change all? I didn't know you could change all those settings.
I believe you can. They're all over there. I think you just have to go into settings. And
I think the host can.
The host can, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've never tried. I know you can set the number of players and imposters, but there is a whole list of like cooldowns and stuff, so you all know it at the beginning. I guess if you can tweak those, that's great. Because if you have a like experienced group, you could probably make your cooldowns longer so that or shorter. It'll speed up your game too. If you get a 15-second cooldown, then you just get murder sprees and everyone dies.
Exactly, and it can make it if you want to play 9 against 1, but the one person has a 15-second cooldown instead of a 30. Yeah, you can do all those things, or if you just want to get in there and meddle with it a little bit, you can try to, which is kind of cool. I would say in a board game, we usually frown upon that because that's a designer not trying. In a video game, because they're so fast, we look at that and say, oh, you've given me so many options to work in my own sandbox. It's not that you're a bad designer. It's that you've given me all the options so I can do it.
And I'd say with the board game too, it's like if it said in the rule book, these are your play variants.
Yeah.
Then playing them is not breaking the game. You're just, if it tells you can also play it this way, and that's what the video game is doing, is it's saying, this is a toggleable option, so it's not wrong to try it.
Yeah. So it gives you all kinds of cool scenarios, all kinds of cool things to do. I can only say that updating it so it plays more people and larger maps can help it and make it even more popular. I do think personally the staying power could be a while, but I think Mike makes a great point. I probably would have said that a month ago about Fall Guys. I'd be like, it's so cute and the things you do are so cool. And that thing has died almost immediately. So I suppose we'll find out in due time. And this has been the Party Gamecast. Thank you so much, everybody listening out there. Thank you all to our Patreons at patreon.com/partygamecast for supporting the show. So this has been the Party Gamecast. I've been your moderator, Bruce. Joining me on the show is Rocki.
Bruce is sus.
Brian.
Bruce is very sus.
Mike.
Sus.
Marty.
Where?
And thank you so much for listening.